Hi guys, welcome back to Detailing and the Beast. Today something a little bit throwback for you. A lot of people are interested in the AliExpress cheap detailing accessories videos, and to be honest, I've struggled to buy any more from AliExpress to do one of them generic review multi-type accessory videos because there just isn't the stuff there anymore. We've reviewed pretty much all of it. The other problem is the prices. Now the prices do seem to be going up quite substantially compared to this time last year, so it doesn't really offer the cheapness of it anymore, but we will keep trying. And if I can get hold of any more accessories, I'll do a part 4 as soon as I can. In the meantime, however, I have been shopping on AliExpress and I have bought 3 of the foam lances. I've bought a really cheap one, a middle of the range one, and the most expensive foam lance on AliExpress. So what I'm going to be doing for you today is going through the 3. We're going to review them on 10 various categories, score them some points, and see whether any of these are any good. To compare them and to benchmark them, I do have my Italian PA lance, my Autobrite direct lance. Now that is considered one of, if not the best foam lances on the market. And we'll be using that as well in the scoring categories to benchmark them against these 3 lances. So what are we going to be comparing them up against? So I've got some notes up on my board. So we're going to go for 10 items. So the first one will be whether it's got a low center of gravity. I know there's a big YouTuber who had a problem with this, and I can demo that for you in a bit. We're going to go for bottle size. We're going to go for adjustable front nozzle, the fan nozzle. We're going to go for an adjustable ratio. We're going to have whether it's got a pickup filter, whether it's got a wide filling neck, the design of the bottle or the lance in its entirety, whether you can see the product level in the bottle, the cost, obviously, and most importantly, and this will be heavily weighted in the scoring, the ability to foam product. So each of these tests is marked out of a maximum score of 3, where we have a sliding scale. We can give 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, 0 points, for instance, in each of the categories, and then we'll add them up at the end and we'll see where we are. As I did say, foam and foaming ability will have a very heavy weighting on the final scores. So what we're going to do is times that number at the end by 3. So for instance, if this one wins, it gets a maximum score of 3 points, we'll times that by 3 and it'll gain 9 points in the overall test. So first up, we have the centre of gravity. So the best centre of gravity, as in the one that doesn't topple over the easiest, will be gaining the 3 points, which is this Voldemir lance, or Voldemir lance as it's called, some Russian lance. But basically that's going to win the 3 points. This one is the next one. That's not too bad. That one's going to get 2 points. After that, we go with these 2. Now, I'm not going to distinguish and say one is better than the other because they're not. They're both as bad as each other for the centre of gravity. So they're both going to score 0 points, and this is why. So next up, we've got points awarded for the biggest bottle. So last place with 1 point is this here, this cheapest lance that only holds around about 400 to 500 millilitres. Second place is the Voldemir, which holds 800 millilitres. That's going to score 2 points. And in joint first place, both of these hold a litre. This bottle being slightly wider, this one being slightly taller. Both of these hold a litre, so they're going to score the maximum 3 points. Next, a very quick one, we have a point system for an adjustable nozzle. This is where you can adjust the actual fan of what's coming out of this. These 3 lances all have the same mechanism and hence cannot be distinguished. They all score 3 points. This one, on the other hand, does not have any way of changing the fan pattern. It does have a way of changing the direction, which I find is utterly useless. That scores 0 points in this test. Similarly, the next test is whether it can have an adjustable ratio. That's the adjustment of amount of foam or amount of product that is pumped through the bottle, through the lance with water, thus changing the dilution ratio. All 3 of these, again, have the same mechanism, all awarded 3 points. This one does have a mechanism on the top, but when I was using it out in the field in practice, I found that it actually did nothing at all. It does score a point for having the adjustable on there, but it's only 1 point. I cannot give it any more because it might as well not be there. Next up is a little bit of a controversial one. It's pickup filters. Now, easily enough for these two do not come with pickup filters at all, so they both score 0 points. This one does come with a inbuilt plastic pickup filter, but inspecting it, it doesn't look to be of any sort of quality, but I have to give it a point for having that built in. So the Fillability scores 1 point. And this is where it gets controversial. Now, the AD foam lance does have a pickup filter, and a very good quality one at that. However, it is an optional extra, and you will pay extra for it. It's an extra £3. They do 2 types, depending on which bottle you've got. So in this test, I am going to award it the 3 points, but just be aware that you will not get that if you buy that lance as it is. You will have to buy the pickup filter separately. Next, I have a category for whether it's easily fillable or not. So, i.e., has it got a wide neck? Quite easy in this selection, and it's only a 1 or a 0 in this point. So, 0, 0, 1, 0. Now we're getting to the really interesting parts. The next one is design. So that's entire design of the bottle, of the look of the product. You know, has it got Instagram points, basically? So this one was really, really tight, but overall, I've given the winner to the Fillability. I think you'll agree, out of all of these, it looks an absolutely fantastic lance. It really does have some Instagram scene points on there, and it looks absolutely amazing with the Karcher Nerf accessory gun. So that scores maximum points. The others, they all score 2 points, basically. So I've had to mark these down based on this. So if this is the best, these cannot be up there with it, right? So these have each scored 2 points. This, I was borderline. I would have given this 1 point because it's very, very cheap and flimsy. It doesn't look great. It's literally that to get it off. It doesn't lock. It's very easily dropped when you're out using this in the field. But this has saved itself with this bottle. I really like this multi-shape bottle, this hexagonal bottle, if you like. And it's got some fill gauges actually written on, molded into the side of it, which I thought was a nice feature. So the bottle there has saved that lance. So in this test, it's 2 points, 2 points, 3 points, 2 points. Next up, we have a category for, can you see the product in the bottle? This is really important if you're storing product or you want to see what's in the bottle, how much you've got left, what is in there by the colour, the dilution, etc, etc. So there is points for this as well. Easy on these three. They're semi-transparent bottles, so all three pick up 3 points. The Fillability is an interesting one. It does have this very nice feature down the side, where moulded into this black plastic is a semi-transparent, or supposedly semi-transparent, fill gauge. The problem is it's not semi-transparent. You can fill this up and you really cannot see, not even with the light, because you can't shine light through the black bottle. You can't see where it's filled up to unless the product inside is really, really dark. So points for effort, not so much for execution. So we gave that 1 point, and all these three scored the maximum 3 points. And finally, we come on to the final two categories, which are the most important to everybody. The first one is cost, and the last one will be foaming ability. So let's do cost first. So this will go in order of cheapest to most expensive on how the points are awarded. So in first place, in fact, let's go the other way. So in last place, scoring 0 points in this test, is the actual Italian PA Lance. Now this thing is 40 quid on the AD website, and I can only find it with 500 mils of Magifoam. So I've been fair, I've found out the cost of 500 mils of Magifoam, which is 10 quid, and I've taken that off the cost. So this lance is circa £30. If you add in that pickup filter of £3, which I suggest you do, by the way, That lance comes in at £33. It's the most expensive of all these here. The Fillability is the next one, so this picks up 1 point. This Fillability lance is £20.73 delivered from China. The next one in the test is this medium or middle of the range lance. This one was £11.11 delivered from China, so that scores 2 points. And the winner in this test, because it is by far the cheapest, scoring the maximum 3 points, is the cheapy lance. This, believe it or not, £3.84 delivered from the other side of the world. How that is even possible, I have no idea. But £3.84 and it wins this test. And finally, the test that matters, foaming ability. This is a very strong mix of Snowfoam and water. It is probably around about a 40% mix of Snowfoam solution and 60% mix of water. This is going to be the solution that is shared between all 4 of these lances. All 4 lances are going to be put on maximum soapiness or maximum product coming through the lance. I'm going to try and match up all the fans on the ones that I can, and we'll use the same solution in all 4 lances, and we'll go and spray that all over the side of my car so we can compare the results of the foaminess. So first up, we have our AD Italian PA lance. This is our benchmark. This is widely regarded in the industry as one of, if not the best foaming lances on the market. And as you can see, the foam here is going on really nice and thick. It really foams solution up well, and that is our benchmark for today. Next up, we're going to go with the really cheap lance. This is the £3.84 lance. As you can see, the foam is by far less aerated. By that I mean that there's fewer bubbles, there's more product on the car, there are less bubbles working their magic. There is a clear difference between these 2 lances. Don't forget, we're using the same product, the same mix in the same jug here. So these are not different foams, they're not different dilutions. Yes, the lance may be putting more water through, but that is part of this test to see which one will create more aeration in that snow foam. And in this test between these 2, the AD lance clearly wins. Next up, we have the middle of the range lance. This is the £11.11 lance. As you can see, a marked improvement over the cheaper £3.84 lance. Aeration, pretty much up there with the AD lance. I'd say the AD lance definitely produces a thicker foam. Whether that would create any noticeable difference if you were using this day to day, I really don't think it would. But for argument's sake, the AD lance does produce better foam than the middle of the range lance. Finally, we come on to the last one in our test. This is the most expensive AliExpress lance. This is the Fillability at £20.73. As you can see, again, a very nice, thick, consistent foam. Not a lot to tell between the 2 here, but you can clearly see that the foam on the right, which is the middle of the road lance, does seem to have a lot more air pockets and bubbles in that. So I would say that that has actually done a better job of frothing up that solution. And that's it. So back to the garage for the final scores on the foam test. So in last place, quite obviously, is the cheapy lance. This, don't forget, all these scores are ×3, by the way, to give a heavy weighting on their foaming ability. They are foam lances after all. This one scored 1 point. It does do foaming, it just doesn't do it very well. So 1 point for this, times by 3, that gets 3 extra points. Next, I didn't really see a difference. Yes, this aerated slightly better, but this gave a more consistent application. So for a foam, I think these 2 scored pretty much the same. So each of these got 2 points, times up by 3. Each of these come away with 6 points in the foaming test. And for our benchmark, and the clear winner here was the AD lance. It produced way above the others in terms of aeration. The foam was a lot thicker in terms of the actual density on the car, a lot more bubbles in the solution. This was the clear winner as our benchmark. But let's not forget, the video is about these 3 in terms of AliExpress and the 3 foam lances that you can buy on there. So we'll go through, we'll add all the scores up, and we'll see how they compare to an actual benchmark product. Out of a maximum of 34 points, the benchmark product scored 26, which is a very, very good score. It got let down, obviously, by its center of gravity. It doesn't have a wide mouth fill, slightly less on the design, and the cost it scored bottom. But as a benchmark product, 26 points. The AD Lance did fantastic. So we're left with these three then. Quite clearly, the loser in this test is the cheapy Lance. Now, don't forget, that was only £3.84. But again, out of the maximum of 34, this Lance only scored 15 points, which is quite poor. It didn't do what it was meant to do as a Snowfoam Lance. It's got a poor capacity. Everything's just a little bit plasticky in comparison to all of these, which have got the brass fittings. And overall, it's just not very good. So that scored 15 points. Next up, with quite a big jump up to 22 points, is the middle of the road Lance. This surprised me, really, for £11.11 delivered. It really did surprise me. It scored well on pretty much everything, apart from the obvious things where it hasn't got a pickup filter, it's got a low centre of gravity, and it hasn't got a wide neck fill. But other than that, a great value Lance at £11.11. And finally, we've got the Fillability. So the middle of the range scored 22 points. This only just topped it at 24. Bear in mind, the benchmark product scored 26. So a very, very capable Lance. This one scored heavily by having the low centre of gravity, the wide neck, the mini pickup filter, but it did struggle on its cost, and this just let it down just a little bit. But overall, a great looking Lance, and I actually use that Lance now. I do think it's absolutely fantastic. So overall, guys, if you're looking for a Lance and you can't afford to go out and spend the 33-ish pounds on one of these, I suggest you do, by the way. As a serious alternative, I would pick this one. So for £11.11, even if you just want a secondary, a backup, a spare, I would go and get one of these. Now, I will try and get the links for all of these three and even the AD one and put them in the video description below so you can go and check them out. Bear in mind that on AliExpress, prices fluctuate by the hour sometimes. So the prices I've given you may be a little bit off, but they'll be in the generic ballpark area. But yeah, go and check that one out. Fantastic Lance for 11 quid. So there you go, guys. Another AliExpress video completed. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Don't forget to give it a share. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. I'll see you on next week's video. Goodbye.